Hey, everyone. Pull this up on my phone. Alrighty. And we are live. All right, we're good to go. I think we're good to go. Hey, I see Angela Harton on. I see Shatera on. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope that everybody's good. So today we are popping in for session 4 homework. Now, I have been told that day 4 pricing is like its own little mini course. So, listen. This assignment was for you to begin brainstorming. This assignment was for you to begin brainstorming. We're not seeking perfection. We're not seeking any of that. We're like, where can you start? Or where can you refine? Or where can you grow? Okay. So right now we have 2 submissions. So I'm going to share my screen. And so we're looking tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And this is a good activity. This was a good activity for you guys to go back to maybe some old offers that you've created in the past, right? Going and researching what's in your market. Like, what are competitors charging? What do their tiers look like? Are they posted anywhere? Like, this is a good opportunity for you to go in and do some market research to see what's out there, and even to really start researching the type of businesses that are out there and the different tiers that like looking at tiered pricing and studying it. I'm a real believer in competence. And when I refer to competence, I mean having the knowledge of your industry. You need to know about the industry. So this was a great activity for you to take 5 minutes and go and study pricing. Look at how businesses are. When was the last time you went on Netflix website? When was the last time you may have gone on Apple Music website and looked at their subscription offers? When was the last time that you thought about investing in some type of tech tool and going back to their website? Most tech tools, like whether it's a social media scheduler, whether it's something like Kajabi or Go High Level, they are going to have multiple tiers, right? Whether it's a service-based industry, right? That where you're working with people either in retainer or in packages. Like, I think that and I don't like the word overwhelming, because I feel like the term overwhelming is very broad and vague. But I think that people feel overwhelmed sometimes with things because, number one, you're putting too much, like you're making it heavier than what it is. And number two, you just haven't taken the time to look, right? So I think that we were talking about social media sites, right? Like, for instance, if I go over to Metricool, this is a social media management tool. This is one of the tools that when someone, I think it was someone in the VIP room, had been asking about social media schedulers. And I said, I use Plan That, but we're looking into Metricool. I'm waiting on it to load up. So like if we go here and you start looking at pricing and look at how they're priced, typically people will have different tiers. Like, when was the last time you just stopped to see, okay, and this is just a social media, this is a scheduling tool, but you can see tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then they have a tier 4. What I like to call, your champion offer. So we typically will have our conversion offer, our conversion offer, our core offer, right? You'll have your higher tier offer, then you'll have what we call your champion offer, the one that's custom, the one that you don't put out there. But I didn't talk about that today. So I think that when we like really start paying, I know that everybody and their mama have seen different tiers like this before. And I think that it becomes less intimidating when we begin to understand that these type of pricing tiers literally are all around us. So all you're doing is creating it for your business. Does that mean? I hope that that kind of brings it together, because, and I'm saying that because I see that we got I see some more comments have come in, but this isn't about, here's the thing, this activity isn't about flushing out your whole offer suite. Okay. We have a few days together. Now, if you choose to come over into working with us in our programs, if you choose to come over into the Coaching Institute, if you choose to come over, if you qualify for the mastermind, right? That's where we start flushing all of this out. That's where we're perfecting. So this isn't about mapping out your whole entire offer suite step by step by step by step. This is about getting clear. Okay, this is a baseline of what I want to offer for my tier 1. This is a baseline of what I want to offer for my tier 2 and my tier 3. We're not talking about all the details right now. So like tier 1 can be, okay, I'm going to start out with some coaching sessions. I'm going to start out with one coaching session. We're going to do one-on-one coaching sessions. Tier 2 might be a bundle of coaching sessions. You're going to get 4 coaching sessions for one flat fee. Tier 3 is a group coaching program. All right, tier 1 is a one session, tier 2 is a bundle of sessions, tier 3 is a group for 4 weeks. Boom. So we're not looking at, okay, this is what I'm going to offer in here, and these are all the details. We're not going in the weeds. We're not going in the weeds. We're not going in the weeds. We're just doing a very brief brain dump of what we think we might want to offer, or how we might need to, or an offer tier we might need to create. I hope that this is making sense for everyone. Okay. So let's get into the responses here. So Shatera says, my book helps teen girls express themselves through journaling and expressive writing so they can develop a strong sense of self, become more self-confident, and embrace self-love during their teen years. Here go the offers. A low-ticket empowerment one-day workshop, $98.50. So I'm assuming that this is, you are counting per person. So I'm assuming that you are looking at, okay, if it's 150, if X amount of people in the room and it's 150 per person, we're gonna spend a whole entire day. Okay. So Shatera, you did this correctly. You're like, here are my packages, here's the pricing. Here's my low ticket, here's my mid ticket, which is 4 sessions. And then this is my high ticket, which is 12 sessions. So you're like doing 1, 4, and 12. And I'm assuming that that's person with individual pricing per person, and the organization is going to pay you. So my thing, especially when it comes to youth, you just want to be very, very clear with how this is going to impact them, how this is going to change their lives, how this is going to benefit their organization. Okay. All right. Cynthia says tier 1 is a ebook and welcome packet with a plan for $2.99. Tier 2 is growth, is $7.99. A book, service plan. Okay, so these are things you're creating for people. I'm assuming that you're creating their ebook and a welcome packet. Tier 2 It's a book. You're developing a service plan. You're creating an author bio. They get 60 minutes of something. And then I'm not sure what gift expression or purpose is. And then tier 3 is 6 to 8 peers. This is the authority level is $24.99. And this is book coaching for 2. So we need solid numbers. Is this going to be 2 weeks? Is going to be 3 weeks? Is this going to be 4 weeks? So this is what I want everybody to do. This is what I want everybody to do. Stop giving ranges. One of the things we talked about today is the power of being decisive and making a decision. Stop giving ranges. Are your sessions going to be 2 weeks? Is the sessions going to be 3 weeks, or are it going to be 4 weeks? Because if you're saying 2 to 4 weeks to somebody, nobody knows what that is. They're going to wonder, am I paying or investing in 2 weeks, or am I investing in 4 weeks? Make a decision and stick with one number, no ranges. Like, we don't say this coaching program is going to be 6 to 8 months. No, is it going to be 6 months, or is it going to be 8 months? We've got to, and I'm seeing this repeatedly. So this is where we got to say, hey, this is what it is. And this is what I'm sticking with. Okay. Deron says, I'm working on my pricing for my tiers. If I doubled my price today, here's what I would need. Here's what would need to shift. I have to fully believe that the transformation I'm offering is worth 10x what they pay and not just the features. I need to stop viewing my price as a favor. Ooh, that's deep, Darren. I need to stop viewing my price as a favor and start viewing it as fair value for the expertise, years of experience, and emotional labor behind it. That's so powerful. That is so powerful. Delivery, I tighten up the client experience, have a smoother onboarding, upgraded visuals, clearer frameworks, and even more intentional follow-ups. I remove any extra fluff and focus on delivering measurable wins that make clients say this is worth every dollar. Here's the thing, Theron. Whatever is required to do the thing that you're promising, that's the delivery. Anything extra is bonuses. And this was a mistake that I made early on. I used to think that I needed to throw everything but the kitchen sink in there, right? To make it valuable. No, it's valuable when they have the framework and the strategy to get the results that you're telling them they can get. So if I say, I can help you write your book in 8 weeks, right? What's going to be needed is the exact strategy to write the book in 8 weeks. That's it. That's the part. Anything else is bonuses. If I decide to include content about marketing, that's a bonus. If I decide to include content about audience building, that's a bonus, because those things are not needed to write the book. So I want everybody to think about, what is the thing that's needed to do the thing that you're delivering? Everything else is extra. And you can charge an extra fee for it, or boost the value by positioning it as a bonus. Because I'll tell y'all, well, I won't tell you that. You gotta, when it comes, I can get into like really teaching really easily. But listen, there's value in positioning your content like that. Okay. So confidence says, I need to show up like the transformation is guaranteed and not optional. More visible, more direct, no apologizing for price, no discounts out of guilt. Darren, listen, if I could throw my lip gloss, because let me tell you, you are being the voice of so many right now. And I thoroughly appreciate your transparency and your honesty. No more apologizing for my price, and no discounts out of guilt. Go back, y'all, go back. If you missed today's session, go back and watch it. And when I'm telling you, when that woman with the oil, Elisha did not give her a break out of guilt. He did not give her anything because he felt sorry for her. He gave her a strategy. He told her something to do. It was up to her to do it. She still had to execute on it. She still had to execute on it. He didn't do anything to her for her out of guilt because of, oh my gosh, I feel so sorry for you. No, that was her journey to walk. And just because somebody's experiencing a journey, it's not our responsibility to come in and rescue them for that. From that, there's something in that God that they're trying, that they have to learn as a muscle that has. She was forever changed. She could never go back to being the same in her thinking. Now I guarantee you, she moved forward looking for opportunities. So here's the thing there. Instead of saying, I walk and talk like the authority I am, start doing that today. Start doing it today, because you've been in it for a minute. And it's really time for you to start really fully owning that and walking in it. So tier 1. And sometimes that's going to require us to cut some things off so that we can do the thing that we're called to do, and to focus on doing the thing that we're meant to do. You know, Darren, I just cut off an income stream earlier this month and said, hey, I'm not doing it in this way anymore. I don't have capacity. I've got to focus on this. So sometimes really stepping into that next level and owning that authority is going to require us to cut off things that are not leading us in that direction. All right. And so you have tier 1, foundation momentum starter, social media audits and clarity calls for 147. Tier 2 is the builder momentum accelerator, CEO and motion hub, 6-month cohort, 997. Now I'm going to say this, Darren. 997 for 6 months. That's like $125 a month. That's not sustainable. I'm not sure if this is a course, a coaching program, a membership, but if you having to show up for 6 months straight coaching people through something, then you definitely want to revisit this price, because I don't see how that's going to be sustainable over 6 months. Okay, so either cut it down to 3 months and increase the price, or do 4 weeks at $997, but not 6 months. Like, that's not sustainable. You can't live off of that. And then we have tier 3. And here's the thing too, pricing is positioning. What kind of people are you going to be like? What kind of people do you want to work with? And what type of people are you going to be attracted or pulling in for $997 at 6 months? That's like membership pricing. That's like when you look at it for what it is over the course of 6 months, that's low ticket. That's low ticket. So for something that's weeks or months, we have to look at, okay, well, if this is $997 paid in full, but if it's 6 months, it's really low ticket, because it's not $997 a month, it's $997 divided by 6. That's what you're really making, and really less than that when you're looking at the amount of time that you're going to have to take to prepare and do and facilitate and show up and do all the things. So I wouldn't suggest that. That's like a recipe for burnout, in my opinion. Now, what you can do is decrease that length of time. That's what you can do. All right, I got about 10 more minutes, guys. Tier 3, the Legacy Momentum Mastermind, 5,000 pay in full or 525 for 12 months. Okay, so you have your idea for a mastermind. Just change this momentum accelerator And I'll say, and that's not a bad price. Like that's a sweet spot in all honesty. So you got your social media audits. Let's fix this tier 2, and you've got your tier 3. Good work. All right. Coral says trying to learn, still not feeling like this is anywhere near okay, but here's what I have. All right. We all here because we're learning. Okay. And this is based off of what we talked about today in VIP, I assume. So Spark instructional coaching, virtual group-based coaching available for educators seeking transformation in their science and STEM teaching practice. Ignite workshop facilitation, virtual or in-person workshop facilitation or keynote speaking for schools, conferences, and organizations. And you've got the custom program design. So you've got school-based coaching for educators. And then workshop for so okay, this is group. So what's my question here is what's the difference between the group-based coaching and the virtual workshop? Like, isn't a workshop facilitation, isn't that group-based coaching as well? Is that the same? Okay. Okay, I see it here. It's a book study cohort that follows chapters. So this is based off of your book, but this is based off of STEM. Okay. And then you've got your project based, you're done for you, where you're going in as a consultant and as an instructional designer to design programs for them to incorporate STEM in their subjects in schools. So I think this is much better, and it's a lot better aligned. And I can clearly see, okay, I can bring you in for a book study or some trainings based on the concepts in this book, where it's teach the teacher, or I can come in and do some we do type of stuff where we're going to do some things in person, hands on, that you can, and it comes with customized materials, or I can do it for you. So this makes sense. So I can definitely see the tiers here. All right. So it's good work. Good work. Good work. All right, everybody. Those were the let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. So those were the ones that were submitted. Super excited for everybody. So I hope that this overview of today's session was helpful. And to just kind of provide a recap for some of for some of the things that we talked about. Okay. So great work, everybody. We're gonna meet tomorrow. Tomorrow's day 5. And tomorrow's all about creating your profit plan. So we're going to be doing some revenue mapping. How do you plan your income and how do you prepare for that? So it's a follow up to today's session. All right. So I'm super excited to connect with you guys tomorrow. For those of you all who signed up to join the private partnership, you completed the private partnership application. The replays to our partnership meeting have gone out, so you can learn about the offers. Now, if you didn't submit an application, but you're interested, you want to dive deeper on this information, you want more hands-on to really develop it out, then definitely make sure you just send an email in, and we'll send you the replay to the private partnership meeting from today, where we went over the different ways to work with us. All right. And so we'll be, having conversations over the next few days, because the deadline to enroll is Tuesday. The deadline to join us is Tuesday, October 21st, because we're actually going to start our onboarding on the 22nd. Okay. Before we go into November. All right. So great work, everyone. Here's the thing. If you did not submit it, and not because you didn't have time and you were running around with your kids, I understand that, and I understand how those type of days can be. But if you did not submit it because I don't know where to start, I feel overwhelmed, you've got to give yourself permission to start. And the best way to start is to just start. Start with an idea. Start flushing your ideas out. Start there. As long as you continue to just kind of stay in your head about things and continue to mull over it over and over and over in your mind, you're going to stay stuck. And staying stuck is a decision. We've got to make a decision that we're going to do it, and then we've got to move into action. Taking imperfect action is the only way to move forward. All right. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow for day 5, where we're going to be doing some pricing strategy. We're going to do, now we did pricing strategy today. We're going to do profit planning. Profit planning. How to plan for your profits. Be there, be square. I'll see you all tomorrow.